You're on your own tonight. The gallery can get a bit creepy. It's old. Things rattle. Just do a circuit every now and then and head back to reception when you're tired. If anyone tries to break in, call me. Or the police. Actually, police and then me. But you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Have a good night.
Welcome to Murnhaven's Unsolved Mysteries. Tonight, we'll be trying to solve the murder of Murnhaven's most famous artist, Mordecai Gray, brutally murdered in his loft last year, on the night of All Hallows Eve. Gray had been painting 6 portraitures at the time. They were all suspects according to Justice Hoon, but Hoon was unable to convict any of them. Could there still be a killer on the loose? Was it Dominic Serrell, the lush burlesque dancer? Or Otto Pipistrel, our now famously cancelled ventriloquist? Or perhaps Lilith Rendell, the island's only undertaker? Gray was also painting Sunday Finch, our twinless tennis star, Xavier Hahn, the reclusive clockmaker, and finally, Vice Justice Catherine Myers. Perhaps Justice Hoon was covering up for his understudy. We have all the juicy details coming up, but before we discuss those murderous muses, let's delve into the mind of a killer by retracing their footsteps on that fateful day.
Welcome to Gallery Argenta. I'm Jamie, your jovial art museum information educator. Push my buttons and see how I respond. No one knows who she is, but rumors abound. Mordecai's first love, his first wife, an ancestor. But why all the blood? Endearingly nicknamed the Mordecai Lisa, some say she bears a striking resemblance to his mother. During an excavation of the henge in 2011, a hive of secret passageways and rooms was found running all the way to the Aurora Woods and beyond. This giant crystal ball is one of the few artifacts recovered during the dig, and due to the ban on all paraphernalia of divination, is now safely homed at Gallery Argenta. Don't try to see anything in it. That would be illegal. Merlehaven's picture postcard lighthouse was built soon after sailors arrived on the island and was tended by lighthouse keeper Leon Knoll for an incredible 53 years. After Leon's retirement in 2010, the lighthouse stopped working, and any attempts to fix it have been in vain. Mordecai Gray appeared to have a strange fascination with the building, and it appears in several of his works. Merlehaven Island was discovered in 1953 by crab fishermen who'd sailed too far out of the wash. The island was populated by many great auk, even though they had been declared extinct over 100 years before. These penguin-like creatures are still celebrated in Merlehaven's annual Auk Festival. This was the last painting from Gray's dream period, and the last piece he worked on before the 6 portraits that preceded his death. Doorways are said to represent passages and the transition from one life to the next. Notably, Gray was recorded saying that he'd passed through a gateway through which he could not return. During the freak fish storm of 1976, the first mayor of Merlehaven was hit on the head by Majesty, breaking his neck and ending his reign for good. Some scholars believe the fish storm was caused by a Concorde flight from England, whilst others point to a more sinister ceremony near the henge. Either way, Mayor Spence sleeps with the fishes now. On the 16th of April 1953, the crew of a fishing trawler first discovered Merlehaven Island. This day would come to be known as Merlehaven Day, the island's birthday, and every year it's celebrated with the arrival of the Auk Fair. Perfectionist surgeon turned clockmaker Xavier Hahn is Merlehaven's most in-demand artisan. He took a small hiatus when his mother died last year, and more recently after divorcing his wife Caroline. But his reclusiveness and rare output has made him more in demand than ever. Sunday and Monday, Merlehaven's most remarkable twins, were already well known as the miracle test tube daughters of geneticists Goddard and Constance Finch. But they found fame in their own right on the tennis court, quickly becoming the world's youngest and most memorable doubles champions. Professor Catherine Myers is Merlehaven's current Vice Justice serving under Justice Hoon, and is directly responsible for maintaining criminal laws and rehabilitating offenders. She's also the mastermind behind Merlehaven Manor, the island's only penitentiary, allowing offenders to rehabilitate closer to home instead of being sent overseas. Otto and Pip are Merlehaven's most famous comedy duo, having secured Best Comedic Performance for 3 years running at the prestigious Golden Auk Awards. Pip also has his own solo career, which includes a best-selling children's book and a cartoon series based on the Pip is Hip universe. As the last remaining funeral director on the island, Lilith Rendell ferries Merlehaven's souls to their final destination. Angel to the bereaved, she comforts those left behind, whilst pioneering carbon-neutral cremations and burials using compostable coffins. Better known as her alter ego, Miss Moonstruck, talented dancer Dominique Serrant regularly performs her bewitching blend of ballet and burlesque at the Moonstruck Lounge. At one time set for stardom on the West End stage, Dominique's path took an unexpected turn due to a tragic death in the family, but London's loss soon became Merlehaven's gain. Originally an unorganised burial ground for the first settlers, the plot was turned into the largest solitary graveyard on the island, with thousands of headstones honouring the dead. Only Merlehaven residents with pre-booked plots can be buried here now. Abernathy's Bluff is the most inhospitable rock face on the island, luring countless mountaineers to their death every year. Whilst potentially deadly for the people that take part in the sport, it's supplied millions of pounds worth of revenue to Merlehaven in tourism. The chalk cellars are home to one of Merlehaven's largest exports, Merle Port wine. Using water from a natural spring in the Aurora Woods, the wine is said to have great healing and sometimes hallucinogenic properties. It's also the only alcohol that licensed premises can serve at all times of the day. Merlehaven is famously close to the spirit world, with many saying the fabric of the universe is stretched unnaturally thin here. Gray believed that most past inhabitants of Merlehaven were still on the island, including his mother. Steve Stewart famously transported the dead in a distinctive blue station wagon until a macabre car accident in 1992 robbed him of his life and his head. Since then, several sightings of a decapitated man driving a blue hearse have given rise to the legend of the Headless Horseman. staple of popular folklore, the so-called Butcher of Merlehaven was the villain of many tales of missing pets, vanished children, and cannibalism. The island's modern-day butcher, however, takes a more cosmopolitan approach and has recently begun working with a lab that offers synthesized meat.
Wake up. Wake up. Oh, wake up. Yes. You see them too, don't you?
To successfully charge somebody with murder, you need to prove that they had the opportunity to carry out the deadly deed. So, where and when exactly was Mordecai Gray murdered? Here's what we know. At 7 p.m. on the 31st of October, Gray was scheduled to reveal his latest exhibition of portraits at Gallery Argenta. The last time he was seen or heard by anyone was when he delivered the final portraits to the gallery at 3 p.m. He told the gallery manager he had a final errand to run and that he'd be back before the grand opening. But he never came back. According to the coroner, Mordecai was murdered at precisely 7 p.m., the same time his exhibition opened. Where was he murdered? In his artist's loft on Sunvale Parade, the same place the body was found. So it's likely our killer wouldn't have had a corroborated alibi for the time of the murder. To successfully charge somebody with murder, you need to prove that they had the opportunity to carry out the deadly deed. So, where and when exactly was Mordecai Gray murdered? Here's what we know. At 7 p.m. on the 31st of October, Gray was scheduled to reveal his latest exhibition of portraits at Gallery Argenta. The last time he was seen or heard by anyone was when he delivered the final portraits to the gallery at 3 p.m. He told the gallery manager he had a final errand to run and that he'd be back before the grand opening. But he never came back. According to the coroner, Mordecai was murdered at precisely 7 p.m., the same time his exhibition opened. Where was he murdered? In his artist's loft on Sunvale Parade, the same place the body was found. So it's likely our killer wouldn't have had a corroborated alibi for the time of the murder.
Jenna owns Marigolds. In the theatre district, she does the best flowers. We're both dressing up for Halloween. She's going to be a sunflower, and I'm thinking maybe a zombie or a cheerleader.
I'm excited by the thought of my portrait hanging in the gallery. Who knows? It could be worth millions one day. I was on the cover of our West End musical, so I must have a pretty face.
So there's this woman that comes to all of my shows, and I don't know anything about her. And I mean all of my shows, like here, London, Montreal, Cologne. And she's caught my eye, but every time a show finishes and I come out to look for her, she's just gone, like disappeared.
Well, we both want to be the best in the world. I imagine people think that Monday's the better player, but she's always been weaker. Nausea, fatigue, that sort of thing. I try not to make a big deal out of it.
I usually plan a hunting trip for Halloween, even though it's the best time of year for sales. You'd think New Year or spring or Christmas, but Halloween is when I'm perpetually asked for zorigami, a type of possessed clock. Kyoko taught me how they're made. She said they'd only work if filled with blood and passion.
If my parents had used gift bags instead of wrapping paper, they'd still be alive. I don't really celebrate Christmas anymore.
I thought I'd just leave a message. Didn't want to wake you. Hopefully you didn't sleep all night. And just don't let Miss Argenta catch you like that. She can be quite unpleasant. Good luck tonight, and stay awake.
The triumvirate were elected by the first settlers to help shape Merlehaven's future. The judge upholds the rule of law, the mayor oversees policy making, and the mage shelters all citizens together under one spiritual umbrella, regardless of their beliefs. Generally recognised as one of Mordecai Gray's more whimsical pieces, this painting depicts Marie's farm in 1975, when farmer Marie Abernathy claimed she woke up to find all her chickens were levitating, as if lifted by an invisible hand. Unsurprisingly, Marie's story was met with ridicule, with some blaming it on the work of a poultrygeist, while others called for an exorcist. The Tornado del Luna is Gray's depiction of a freak tornado that occurred in 1969, just after Apollo 11 touched down on the moon. The more superstitious inhabitants of Merlehaven thought it was a sign from Mother Earth that man should not be permitted to destroy the moon as it had her. The loop depicts the main road encircling Merlehaven that runs around the island and back again in the shape of a Mobius strip. Gray said that if you stand still for long enough on the loop, you'll meet everyone on the island. Now a spectacle for tourists, Merlehaven's coal mines were operational for over 2 decades before being shut down. Mallow coal is exclusive to Merlehaven, a type of coal that is spongy to the touch and burns brighter and longer than hard coal. However, the life expectancy of a Mallow coal miner was around 2 years, and because of this, mining was made illegal in 1975. Although the cause of the undulating hill's hypnotic rise and fall has yet to be found, geologists believe it's shaped by underground thermodynamics. Digging down has proved impossible, as the hill's rubber-like surface is impenetrable, and visitors who attempt the trip frequently experience blackouts and other disturbing side effects.
Miss Argenta just called me to ask for one of the grey portraits. Just pick any one of the 6 and leave it in reception. It's going away to be tested for authenticity, whatever that means. I think they all look hideous, so they're probably all authentic.
Something has changed.